This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, this is Stan Schofield, and I'm inviting all of my KWK family and my family to watch Church Without Walls, 11 o'clock on Mondays, for the greatest and latest show around. Thank you.
I'm Cynthia Lee Shang, and you're watching Church Without Walls on New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lapinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls in the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12 Central Standard Time. We're so happy that you tune in every Monday morning, where you may be riding, in your office, in your home, wherever you may be. We thank you for listening and watching Church Without Walls. We thank you for watching. We thank you for listening. And we always have you in our heart. Remember, you are the church, so we can knock down the walls that may stand in our way. We come to give you information normally that you don't get on any other show. So we ask that you continue to watch and listen, and we certainly hope that you have had a beautiful week. We hope that everything is well, and we pray for everyone across this country. Many disasters have happened all over the country, just a few, the Bahamas. Many tragedies that happened yesterday, I think, in Oklahoma. And in our city, crime seems to be everywhere. But we believe that God will always provide, and he said that he would reward us according to his riches and glory, not ours. So we so happy to have you every Monday morning to tune in to your host is Charles Stewart, and Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams is the co-host. We have in the studio our special guest is the Honorable and the Formable Pastor Donna R. Jones in the studio to share with us, and many of y'all know that he's running for councilman in District 3. Many other candidates have came on to the show, and we would dare not to let election come without him being on the show. And as you know, the past president candidate, sheriff, many other candidates, state representatives have been on the show, but we have a very special man in our studio today to talk about his candidate. Dr. Williams, do you want to get into the show, or if you don't have anything to say, Dr. Williams, in open statement? First of all, Councilman Jones, thank you for being former Councilman Jones and Pastor Jones. Thank you for being on the show today.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here. It's always good to find myself in the presence of good, solid, God-filled men and community people that care about the community. So it's a great day to be alive, my friend.
Before I ask a question that I want to ask you, Pastor Jones, but I'd like for you to share with our listening audience and our audience that is viewing who Donna Jones, who you are, your qualifications, and why you're running.
Well, why I'm running is, as you probably know, about 120 160 days ago, some community leaders and people came to me and asked me would I consider getting back involved in politics. And I basically told them that season, I believed in my heart that season was over for me. Then they went on to explain to me some of the demographics and economic changes that are happening in the parish and how certain areas in the parish are lagging behind other areas. And so I still told them I had zero interest. I thought that season was over. And one of them asked me a question and said, "Do you care for the people?" I said, "Of course I do." And another one asked me a question. He said, "Well, do you believe in God?" I said, "Yes, I do." But I said, "More importantly, I trust God." And he said, "Well, Donald, Adam Clayton Powell was the first African American congressman since Reconstruction, and he was the pastor of Abyssinian Baptist Church in New York, in Harlem, over 10,000 people. Uh, he realized that he had to come and help people both on the secular and spiritual side. He told me about Dr. King, and he asked me, "How do you feel about the fact that Dr. King led a movement and helped people to stop sitting in the back of the bus?" I said, "All those things are fine, but right now I'm at a point in my life where I'm just doing what God has given me to do." So that meeting ended, and I had a subsequent meeting with some other individuals, and they said, "Look, the demographics, the changes in the parish are so dynamic that we may end up considering splitting the East and the West Bank." And they went on to explain to me why, and I said, "Well, look, that's not good for the parish. They talked about that in the 1990s. That's not good for the parish. Let me pray on it." And so I prayed on it for 30 days, and then I got 3 confirmations from 2 pastors, and one person has nothing to do with politics. I mean, this person right here, you would never believe that she would be involved in politics. And she called me the Sunday before July the 10th and said, "Look, I'm in the bar. I'm sitting out here with my husband, and there's a man talking to me, drunker than me, asking me to vote for him." And she told me, "Uncle, you got to get back involved." And that was my 3rd confirmation. And so that's why I've been out here the last 90 days, letting people know who I am. And why is that so important, Charles? Because God told Jonah to go to Nineveh. Jonah hated the Ninevites.
Okay.
Jonah hated what they stood for. Jonah was a prophet. God told him to go to Nineveh. Jonah decided he wanted to do something different. I trust in God, and if God is leading me to do something, I'm going to do it. Now, I'm not saying he has me here to win this race. I don't know, but I know he has me on this journey. And just like Jonah ended up going to Nineveh, and you had the greatest revival in the history of mankind, I think God has something great for Jefferson Parish, great for Council District 3, and I think it's going to be unparalleled. So that's why I'm out here talking to people about my candidacy, what I bring to the table, what we can do, and more importantly, what we should do. We can't spend a lot of time talking about who didn't do what. We're at a critical mass path right now where we have to do some things that's going to change the dynamics of this district and this parish. And that's so key and so important. And leadership is the key.
What do you think is the most important thing that you should get over to the people this morning about the voting process?
Well, as Americans, we have a civic responsibility to vote. We have a civic responsibility to vote. It's our responsibility to go. God anoints and God appoints leaders. Some leaders become corrupt, but that doesn't take away the fact that God anoint and God appoint leaders. We should pray for those leaders, those who are good and those who are bad. The important thing is that when you sit on the sideline and you don't vote, you really vote because you're getting somebody who you don't necessarily want. So I encourage everyone to look at all the candidates. Look at all the candidates, assess the candidates' records, assess what the candidates say they're going to do, and go to the polls and vote for wherever the Spirit leads your heart. That's key. Oftentimes people don't participate, they don't vote, and when you don't vote and things impact you, you can't cry foul because you had an opportunity to look at the records. You had an opportunity to evaluate what the people were saying they were going to do. And if you didn't vote, then shame on you.
Yeah, Pastor Jones, they have 10 other candidates in the race, in this race. I was talking with a former councilman yesterday. A lot of people said, boy, that's a lot of people in the race. But to do a process, he reminded me when he ran that there are 16 people in his race. And God bless him. Out of the 16 people, he came in number 2. And he went on to be councilman for many years. Pastor Jones, with the 10 other candidates in the race beside you, what set you apart from those other 10 individuals that you ran against?
Well, let me start off by saying one thing that I've tried to do in this election is not compare myself to the other candidates. I think that's a deficiency. I think that does more to tear down our community than anything else. I watch the viciousness on the social media, how people just spend time tearing down the different candidates. Let me just say something and make it perfectly clear. Now, I'm going to send my baby like AWOL when I say this, because she doesn't want me to say this. But I'm at a point in my life where I speak the facts according to how I see them. I believe in my heart that District 3 has the most diverse group of candidates that has ever run for the Jefferson Parish Council. Some of us are more equipped to do it today than some of the others, but you have business people, you have former elected officials, you have lawyers, you have the most diverse group of people that can present themselves to the public. Now, do I think I'm the best one? Of course I do. Do I think that all of us bring certain strengths and certain weaknesses to the table? Of course I do. Do I think some of us are flawed? All of us are flawed. And we can find fault in anybody. But the key is looking at what that person's records suggest, what that person is telling you they're going to do, and their capacity to get it done. And I always tell people, Charles, you and I have this conversation often. When you're going to have heart surgery, you want someone who's had successful heart operations. You're not going to pick someone, an intern, right out of school. And it never ceases to amaze me that in other communities, we reward experience, we reward talent, we reward excellence. But unfortunately, in our community, we don't do that often enough. And that's our choice. I'm letting people know that God has allowed me to be a skilled surgeon at government, a skilled surgeon at business. I'm growing each day as a pastor, but the expertise I bring as it relates to business, expertise as I bring relates to government, is surpassed by none of my opponents. Now, they all bring certain characteristics and traits to the table, but what I bring, I think, is superior.
Okay, Pastor Jones, tell us, a lot of debates and that they have on television that I see, local and national. They asked the candidate, tell us, Donna Jones we're gonna go into some other stuff later, but tell us about Donna Jones from a little kid 5 years old up to now, what God has started you from and where He done brought you to now. We like to know about it, Jones.
Well, probably, Charles used to take long walks, um, sit in the tree and watch people and observe them and just be one on one with nature and one on one with the Lord. Now, I wouldn't tell you when I was a kid, I understood the nature of being one on one with the Lord and just observing and paying attention to things. And I thank God for allowing me to experience a multitude of things as a young man. And I thank God, Charles, more importantly, for the people that He brought into my life. From a little child to an adult, God has always allowed me to be surrounded by people who are smarter, who are quicker, who are committed, who are disciplined, who always led me in the right direction. I saw something on one of the Facebook, something earlier today when a lady was talking about Judge Eugene Fishew and Judge Herbert Wallace. Those guys laid the foundation for a lot of things. I remember Judge Fishew and Mr. Wallace had us as kids understanding government, talking to us about it, explaining it to us. So I stand on the shoulders of a multitude of people, and I think God led those people on my path so I can grow and mature and become the type of person that he wants me to be, and the vessel that he could use to bring a revitalization to the parish, to Council District 3, and bring it in with a sense of integrity, a sense of commitment to purpose, and a sense of understanding that everybody has individual concerns and individual things that impact them. And I think I'm best qualified to be that person that make the changes that need to happen.
So you want to tell us what a lot of times people are saying over the parish, like we scatter everywhere. We born in one place, we live in another. Tell us as a little boy your address from, I think you say you live right off of 4th Street somewhere over there. You Avondale. Give us a little history on how God moved you around in this parish.
Well, as a boy, I can remember. I know what I can remember. I can remember living on Klein Street in West Wego. I think they used to call it the Flat or Little Korea when I was growing up. I went to stay with my auntie and my uncle in Marrero on Robinson Avenue and Corn Street, Silver Lily. And finally, my dad asked him to send me back home when he bought a home in Avondale. And so I moved back to Avondale. So I've been all over the West Bank. I mean, I've lived in Marrero, West Wego, Avondale. So it's been a diverse experience. So I think I'm from multiple of places.
Okay. Well, on that note, I think many people know you have a degree in political science.
You're talking about academically.
Right.
Yeah, I graduated from Xavier University with a degree in political science. I attended AP Clay Bible College to get my pastoral certifications. And God has just been, oftentimes, like I said, we have the most diverse group of candidates, I think, in the history of Jefferson Parish. And all of us bring certain educational components to the table, certain business components to the table, certain professional components to the table. But the key thing that I think is critical in a leader is integrity. If you look out throughout the history of the Bible, if you look at Daniel, you look at Joseph, you look at all of the prophets, they were flawed men, but they were men of integrity. Their word was their bond, their commitment was their bond, and their love for God was their bond. So I think that I know I bring a sense of integrity and commitment to excellence. Because one, I love God primarily, I love my family, and I love the community. And with those three things, you can't lose.
I think it's time for our first break, so we'll take our first break and then we'll be right back at you again. So those of you who are listening, please take time to give us a call. If you have any questions, Pastor John, he's here to answer them for you today.
You are listening, you are watching Church Without Walls. Download the app, www.New Orleans Talk Network. You like to call us, 1-563-999-1808. You are listening and watching Church Without Walls. Dr. Anthony Williams and Charles Stewart. We'll be back.
My friends, you stood with me before and we beat the odds in the big money people. We did things that no one thought could be done. You actually got a piece of the pie. Now, we need your help to make this new victory a reality. It cannot happen without you. Please go to vote$jones.com Make a donation of $1, $5, $10, $15, $25. You can even sign up to volunteer in the campaign or request a sign. It's your district. Don't give it up to the special interests and the same old, same old. Let's get something done again. Thank you. And go ahead.
This is Charles Stewart.
And the Reverend Dr. Anthony Williams.
We are Church Without Walls.
And we are here today to give you information that you don't normally get at church.
We come your way every Monday morning, 11 to 12.
Call in with your comment or your questions, and we'll be glad to try and answer them for you. If we don't have the answer today, we will get it to you on a message.
Don't you dare miss it.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
We are back. You are listening and watching Church Without Walls. We're in the studio today is Pastor Donna R. Jones, candidate for Councilman District 3 here in the beautiful city of Marrero. We're in the studios of the New Orleans Talk Network. We invite you to download their app, www. New Orleans Talk Network. We're also on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. If you'd like to call, 1-563-999-1808 if you'd like to ask Pastor Jones a question. Question, Pastor Jones, that I get from people that I run into and say maybe being Home Depot, the grocery store, supermarket. And I don't know if you get this question now. What do you, we was talking a little while ago about the different places people live in Jefferson Parish. What do you really live? Because I heard before that you live in English Turn, and I never know. I feel kind of left out there. And they say you live on the East Bank in a $2 million mansion. And I said, you want to know why? I never been invited to your house. And I feel a little bit left out. I don't know about you, Dr. Williams. I never got that invitation to visit your $1 million house. So, Pastor Jones, could you tell us where do you really live at? You know?
Well, it's interesting. You know, in the book of Daniel, when they couldn't find anything against Daniel, they just made some things up and convinced other people to spread the bad news and bad information. But I know this, as long as you maintain your integrity and your relationship with Christ, that's the most important thing that you can do. It's ironic you bring that up. I was walking in the Woodmere subdivision maybe about 2 weeks ago, and a lady stopped me and she asked me the very question, how can you represent us? And you live in a gated community off of Airline Highway where all the people have the big mansions and the golf course and everything. So I just listened to her, and then she said, well, guys was telling me that they were walking around here. So I talked to her for about 20 minutes, and finally she calmed down. And then I told her, I said, man, let me share this with you. I moved in the Westminster subdivision in 1987. And I've been living in the Westminster subdivision since 1987. Did God give me an opportunity to move to other areas? Of course he has. But I chose to stay there because I wanted kids to be able to see that their council person lived in their community. I wanted people to be able to see that a person could own a business and live in their community. So I decided to stay in Westminster. I live at 7420 Bartlett Drive. Me and my wife, my son, my grandkids come there, and my neighbors know it. And one thing I've learned in life, Charles, if people want to find something gossip, innuendos, misinformation, distorted information, that seeks itself out. We have an ironclad record of commitment to the community, and I'm not saying I'm going to always stay in Westminster, but for the last 25 years, that's where I have resided. 7420 Bartlett Drive, Marrero, Louisiana. And we enjoy our home. It's a modest home. We enjoy our family, and that's the key thing. You see, a home is what you make it, and a home is for a family. People have houses and not a home. I think we have a home. My wife do an excellent job of taking care of me and my son, and taking care of all the house based things and everything. So we have a nice home. I enjoy it in Westminster, and hopefully one day I will be able to afford one of those $1.5 million houses I can retire in, I guess. I don't know.
Pastor John, when you look at the things that you've accomplished within the district, like Avondale, can you tell us a little bit about the things that you've accomplished and the things that you would like to improve in that area right now if you're elected back to the office?
Well, as I said, District 3, for anybody who's aware of it, is the most diverse council district in the parish. You have all types of different ethnic groups, economic groups, social groups, so it's diverse. The most significant, some of the things that I see that are critically important, and every area have things of significance. In Marrero, between what I call the Ames-Haydale corridor, one of the number one things we have to do is deal with the smell coming from the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that.
There is no fundamental reason why the people should have to bear the odors that come from that plant. That can be fixed. Now, when I left the council office 16 years ago, I left a plan to move the Marrero wastewater treatment plant and the Harvard wastewater treatment plant. We were able to go to Washington, D.C. and get a grant to design moving those plants from those communities. I just ran out of time. But I did leave for my predecessors a ironclad plan to move those two wastewater treatment plants because those wastewater treatment plants were not designed to handle the type of sewer that is handling today. It has to be enlarged and it has to be isolated. So that's something that impacts the Marrero area. We see that, like we developed Manhattan Boulevard. We were able to go in, get Darrell Berger to come in and build a Palace Theater with the Solomon Brothers, get Walmart to locate there, and we wanted to turn Manhattan Boulevard into the Veterans Boulevard of the West Bank. So now you have Manhattan Boulevard, which is a thriving economic corridor where you can go and find almost any service that you need on Manhattan Boulevard. Now, let's move from Manhattan Boulevard to the western end of the parish. When one leaves Wagaman and enter into the Booty area, there's a corridor of about 2 miles where you have 5 banks, 6 or 7 stores, any amenity that you could want on that corridor. When you leave Boutique going to the 310 Junction, every possible amenity that a family can need, pizza shops, car shops, automobile repair shops, everything that you could need is on that corridor. Supermarket. Winn-Dixie, Walmart. So there's no such thing as the fact that a Walmart or Winn-Dixie cannot be sustained from Wagaman to Avondale Garden Road because of the population. One of the things we need to do is make sure that that community have a stable grocery store, something comparable to the neighborhood Walmart on the West Bank Expressway in Gretna. How can you have a neighborhood Walmart on the West Bank Expressway in Gretna, one on Manhattan, which we brought there, one on Belterria Boulevard, which we brought there, one in Bell Chase area, and from Wagaman to Avondale Garden Road, you have no grocery store. Something is fundamentally wrong with that. Now, what did we do? We expanded and improved the KWK fire station is now the Herbert Wallace Memorial Fire Station. We spent $1 million improving that fire station. We spent millions of dollars putting West Jefferson Health Clinic there, the walking track, the multi-purpose center. So we laid the foundation for economic development all down that corridor. So all anyone had to do was pick up the baton and finish the economic development. In the Wagaman area, what we did in the Wagaman area, we went in, we cut Live Oak Boulevard, we cut Rivette Road. Wagaman has some of the best growth in the parish. Now, why is that important? Because you have houses ranging from $150 to $500,000 in that Wagaman corridor. All that's based upon us cutting Live Oak Boulevard and Rivette Road, doing the Dandelion extension, changed the whole dynamic of Wagaman. Went in and upgraded the fire department in the Wagaman community. Went in and upgraded the fire department on Mountain Farms Road. Went in and air conditioned the gym. So those are the kind of amenities that we did in the 1990s. And we set the foundation for economic growth coming from Wagaman to the Westwego area. In Marrero, we came back and we did Ames Boulevard. We did that. We turned Ames Boulevard from a ditch, a small road with a ditch, to a full-lane thoroughfare. We did that. Lapelco Boulevard. Larry Bonnet and I went to Washington, D.C., got $60-something million to take Lapelco from Harvey to Highway 90. We did that. Alario Center. We did that. The PGA Golf Tournament facility. We did that. We used the Fireman's Fund Pension Fund. So you have to be innovative and creative when you're trying to make a difference. We were able to get the Fireman's Pension Fund to come in, joint venture with that nonprofit, and put that golf facility out there. Nicole Boulevard. We did that. All those things come from economic planning. Now, is that going to give you time, Deacon Charles, to go to every pastor's anniversary? No. If that's going to give you time to go to every second line? No. If that's going to give you time to go to every party? No. It takes commitment and excellence to make a difference in the community. And from Wagaman to Harvey, we air conditioned every gym in Council District 3. Additionally, you take the Johnny Jacobs Park. We went in there and we spent $6 million renovating that park, making it modern, putting the only freestanding swimming pool in all of Jefferson Parish in that park. We went into the Harvard community, re-air conditioned that gym. So when I was on the council, we were about quality of life and economic development. And there's so many things that I can share with you that we were instrumental in making it happen. We made sure that in the old Harvey area, the streets had never been blacktop in 30, 40 years. We went in there, blacktopped those streets. We went in there, built a community center. In every community, we had a community center where people could go in and get the resources to make a difference in their life. And one thing that's very, very important, and I found this out there on the campaign, that really caused me some heartburn. We realized that people were being rushed to West Jefferson Hospital, East Jefferson Hospital, and different hospitals consistently for high blood pressure. People were dying, diabetes, all type of sexually transmitted diseases. So Dr. Dawson and I went to Washington, D.C., and brought back home almost $6 million. And we formed the first 330 clinics. And the first one we did, Charles, was on Jefferson Highway in the Bunchville Little Farms area. That facility was the model facility. We had dentists there, we had doctors. We came and put one in Avondale, one in Marrero. I was surprised, I was stunned to see that clinic on the East Bank, the mothership was closed. Yeah. How can you close a state-of-the-art facility like that caters to a community that needed? When we did the study, the reason why we were able to bring all that money back, because when we did the study, we were able to show that there was a need. So we were able to create community health centers, multi-purpose centers, road improvements, economic development. All of those things laid the foundation to make District 3 the most prominent district in the parish.
Pastor Jones, we have to take a break. You are listening and you are watching Church Without Walls, Reverend Dr. Anthony William and Charles Stewart. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Vote Donald R. Jones for Councilman District 3. Proven leadership that worked. In Harvey, he built a multi-purpose center in 1996 and converted Manhattan Boulevard to a thriving commercial intersection. You requested a walking track, and we made it happen. Let's make it happen again. Vote for integrity, progress, and prosperity. Vote Donald R. Jones for Councilman District 3.
New year, new show. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I'm coming back at you with the new year of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. And this year, we're moving to Monday night with brand new exciting guests and engaging literary conversation. And we want our listening audience to be there with us because this is going to be a year you will not forget. Catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m., right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. And you can also reach us on the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page, and we're on Podbean, iTunes, and Google Play. So catch us every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you there.
This program does not reflect the views and opinions of the New Orleans Talk Network. Viewer discretion is advised.
You are listening, you are watching Church Without Walls, Reverend Dr. Anthony William and Charles Stewart. In the studio today, the Honorable Elder Pastor Dr. Donald Jones. He is a man who wears many hats, and we're so happy to have him in the studio with us today. And he's have shared with us many things that he have done as councilperson in District 3, and he was sharing with us, I think, of something very, very important. And sometimes when something good, like say, you'll be looking at a game, they make a good play, they rewind and show it back again. So he was explaining to us before we took the break about those 330 clinics that I think one of the greatest things ever happened in Jefferson Parish and in District 3. Mr. Jones, could you back up a little bit and reiterate a little bit about your vision when you realized that people was getting, say you bust your finger, you get a cold, something minor, you had to run the chair to the hospital, the East Jefferson, West Jefferson, that's why those clinics were put there for convenience, and it was a need. Can you reiterate up on that a little bit more?
One of the things that were critically important, the Bunch Village Little Farms area, the Kenner area off of Jefferson Highway, people had going to the emergency room for diabetes, high blood pressure, sexually transmitted diseases. So we were able, and I got to give A.J. Gilmore credit, because it was A.J. Gilmore, my administrative assistant, and Dr. Robert Dawson. We went to Florida to see how to set these clinics up. People shouldn't have to go to the emergency room for high blood pressure, diabetes, gout, or little things that can be treated. And if you catch them early, what the 330 clinic was designed to do was to give people immediate access to health care. The East Jefferson Community Health Center, located on Jefferson Highway, was designed for healthcare, but also, Mr. Stewart, for economic development. We placed that center, that clinic, in a strategic place whereby from that clinic going back towards St. Charles Parish, you could have economic development. Why is that so important? If you ride through Harahan, which is about 6,000 people on the west bank of, on the east bank of that community, if memory serves me correctly.
And down
Jefferson Highway, you have every possible amenity that you can use. Stores, Winn-Dixie, Dollar General, everything that you need.
Walmart.
Yeah, the Super Walmart. Everything that you need, Harahan has it on that little stretch. But when you get out of Harahan,
out into River Ridge,
it's nothing. So what happens is that you have to have economic planning. Just like we use tax incremental financing to bring the Palace Theater and Walmart to Manhattan Boulevard. We spent over $5 million in infrastructure development to change. We have to change the look of Jefferson Highway as it relates to the Bunch Village, Little Farms, Kenner area. And those people have to have the same type of amenities that the people in Harahan have. The people in Wagman and Kennedy Heights area need to have the same amenities that the people in Booty have. All that's related directly to planning. And without planning, it doesn't happen. Now, you were talking about the clinics. That clinic should still be open. Now, why it isn't open, I can't tell you. But I can tell you this. It has a desperate impact on the people in that Bunch Village Little Farm area to not to have immediate access to that clinic. And more greater than that, we were designed to have clinics in every community, not just in Avondale, the Bunch Village area, Marrero. We designed a plan, A.J. Gilmore, Dr. Robert Dawson, and myself, to have these clinics throughout the parish. And the 330 grants made that possible. But you got to leave Jefferson Parish. So you can't sit here in Jefferson Parish and just want to be a council person to be in a position. You got to leave Jefferson Parish, go to Baton Rouge, go to Washington, D.C., and go find the resources to make things happen. Like I told you earlier, Larry Bourne and I went to Washington, D.C., and brought back almost $60 million to redo Lapalco Boulevard. Those are the kind of things your council person should be about. And healthcare is a major issue. Our community is aging. We need to have direct access in every community. It's possible to have a community health center. I know it because I saw it in Florida. When A.J. Gilmore and Dr. Robert Dawson and I went to Florida, we saw thriving community health centers that could exist in Jefferson Parish. But you got to have the wherewithal. You got to have the commitment to excellence. You got to be willing to put in the hard work to make things happen. We laid a solid foundation, just like Herbert Wallace and Eugene Fisher laid a solid foundation for us to build on. And Mr. Woods on the East Bank, I just always know him as Mr. Woods. It's a shame I can't remember his first name.
Bill.
Mr. Bill Woods, out of respect for him. Mr. Bill Woods, Mr. Johnny Jacobs, Mr. Landry Comedell in Wagman. All those people laid a foundation, and God allows us to build on that foundation. Now, we have
Mr.
to.
McGee, he did what
Mr. Allen McGee. Now what we have to do, and we have to do a whole nother reevaluation of the direction we want this district to go in. We have to hold a whole series of public hearings in every community, find out what the issues are. There's no reason why Jefferson Parish, listen to this very, very carefully, there's no fundamental reason why Jefferson Parish should own a landfill. And the parish landfill is causing the smells in the Wagman community. That is a Subtitle D landfill. Just like River Birch is a Subtitle D landfill. You should not have onerous smells coming from that landfill. Now, it's going to take $10, $15 million to bring that landfill into compliance in the Wagman community, whereby you don't have the odors that you're having now. That's critically important because you got to give credit where credit's due. We cut Rivette Road. We cut Live Oak Boulevard. You had a spurring of houses and growth, but also the current councilman, Mark Spears, have had a good role in playing, making sure that community continues to develop. You have more houses springing up in Wagman than almost anywhere in the parish, which is a good thing. But we cut Rivette Road, we cut Live Oak Boulevard, we cut Dandelion. We laid the foundations for the growth in Wagman that you see today. So you have people building 150, 200,000, 500,000 houses. You shouldn't have to deal with smells coming from the landfill, most especially the parish landfill. So those are the kind of issues that you see out there. Those are the kind of issues, Deacon Charles, that the people that met with me talked to me about. They said, Donald, the demographics of Jefferson Parish, those demographics are changing. We need to have a burgeoning middle class, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, Europeans. We need to have everybody buy in. Why is that so important? We need to do what Maynard Jackson did. Let's just talk shop for a minute. Maynard Jackson did something in Atlanta that was unique. Atlanta is a mecca and an economic hub. What Maynard Jackson did, and you know this, Charles, because you were involved in it, we didn't go after things that existed today. Right. We brought value to the parish. We went and found and created. What Maynard Jackson did in Atlanta, he got the business community to buy into, we can expand this pie. As mayor, I'm not going to infringe on the things that exist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this economic pie. I'm going to expand it so large that everybody can participate. So you had the business community. You had the residential people. You had the pastors. So everybody bought into expanding the pie. That is how Atlanta became the mecca it is today. We have to do that in Jefferson Parish. And District 3 can be the catalyst for that. There's no fundamental reason why you should have a $1.5 billion expansion at the airport and little or no participation by historically underutilized businesses. That just don't make sense. Right. When that deal was being done to expand that airport, a cooperative endeavor agreement should have been done where funds should have been able to go into that Kenner area and fix the streets, fix the drainage, repair more than just the airport, because the people in Kenner have to face the problems of those airplanes flying over their neighborhoods. So they are impacted by what happens at that airport. So if they see an expansion of $1.5 billion at the airport and they don't see anything happening in their community, they start to feel neglected. Right. That's why it's important to have somebody on the Jefferson Parish Council and somebody on the Kenner City Council that can do collaborative deals together. You can't sit on that council, be it Jefferson Parish or Kenner, and not make sure that your people get a piece of the pie. The people in District 3 deserve the same quality of life that the people in Booty have, the people in Harahan, the people in Metairie, the people in Wagaman, all the way to Harvey, Bunch Village, Little Farm. Everybody deserves to have those amenities and those things that improve their quality of life. You shouldn't have the Bunch Village, the lady said the other night at the Civic Association meeting, she's lived back there for 40 years. They've had 8 murders back there in the last 6 months. Unheard of in that community. And that's an Asian community. So what do? You do what we did with Sheriff Harry Lee. You go to St. Louis, Missouri. Harry Lee, myself, Yvonne McButler McPherson, the guy used to be over at NAACP, I can't recall his name right now. But we went, about 8 of us,
Robert Hamilton?
No, Robert Hamilton was there. We went to St. Louis, Missouri to see how they were dealing with the onset of crime and the innovative things they were using. And we came back, and the sheriff and I, working with Senator John Breaux at that time, Congressman Bob Livingston, was able to bring funds to Jefferson Parish, just like they did in St. Louis, to do a weed and seed program in Tallow Tree, whereby you can curtail some of the crime where kids can see that there's an opportunity. Kids learn how to become contractors. Kids learn how to become electricians, carpenters. We were able to bring a youth build program to Jefferson Parish in the Lincolnshire community. Tyler Tree in Lincolnshire had a spur of murders and killing. So we were able to bring funds in, teach these kids how to get, those who wouldn't get their GEDs, how to get their GEDs, teach them how to do carpentry, HVAC, and electrical work, and make a difference. There are ways to address these issues, but you can't sit here, and I'm going to say this, man, and feel as though if you go to every pastor's anniversary, you go to every second line, you go to every community event, that's enough. That's not enough. We have to improve the quality of life for people in Council District 3 so that these people have the same quality of life that other people have.
We got to take a break on this. We're going to take another break, and after break, we're going to continue our conversation with candidate for District 3, Pastor Don R. Jones. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
We are back. You are listening. You are watching Church Without Walls. We coming to the end of the show. And as we prepare to end this show, one thing that I just like to add right quickly that my opinion, I know most candidates would say that it was too many candidates in the race to have a debate, but the Bible said the people perish by the lack of knowledge, and I think that some of the things that Pastor Jones has shared with us today, I think many people in this parish don't even know that. They don't know some of the great things that he did across this parish, East Bank and West Bank. I personally know of a lot of things that he did. And it was unheard of at the time. In District 3, district have always suffered because before Pastor Jones came along, the people that represented District 3 didn't seem to have love for District 3 for whatever reason. And he came along and he made a lot of changes, but it's so many changes. And it disturbed me that it seemed to me that, and I pray to the Lord he'll let me live to see it, but it seemed to me that for whatever reason, when it come down to the African American community, they seem to think that white ice, and I know people get upset when I say certain things, but they believe that white ice get colder than black ice. And we need to change the mentality. I think that some 16 years ago that the attitude had changed. There's development begin to happen in the community, and for some reason or another, the power at B didn't like that change, so they find a way how to stop it. They got some money to put in term limit. And if you notice, council people is the only one get term limit school. And anywhere African Americans seem to serve, that's what they put term limit. And Pastor Jones said earlier that you have to put a system in place that just like with the New Orleans Saints, any great team. If you take the New England football team, they got a system in place. Don't care who the coach is. It worked because they believe in the system. But some kind of way we got away from that. Saying that to say this, we don't have enough time. But I had to get that in, and I believe that the leaders of this parish, they should have had some kind of debate to get for people to understand. And I think that a lot of people that's going to be voting, uh, the voting begin this coming Saturday on the 28th. A lot of them going to vote don't even have an idea of what they voting for, why they voting. Many of them voting on the sound bites. Many of them vote because Sister Sue said vote, but none of them haven't studied issues. If they had, they wouldn't be putting the same people in office that do the same dumb things. And this is just me saying this. You know what they say on this station that the words that come from Dr. William out of my mouth, not necessarily the views of the New Orleans Talk Network. We talk and we free. Saying that I can't get all what's in my mind to say it, but I just need for us to, every now and then, a young lady say you got to come out of the box and say what's on your mind. I think the Holy Spirit said say it now and then. But saying that, Pastor Jones, I know you have a vision for the people in District 3. Dr. William and I would be remiss if you didn't share with us your vision, where you like to take, if you elected this coming election. I think the main election on the 12th, but they start earlier voting on 28th. Where you plan on taking District 3 if you're successful?
Well, one of the things I want to mention is that I do think you have a debate would be difficult. You see the fiasco with the Democratic debates, but if the law outside of God's intervention, you're going to have a runoff, then I think at that point you can have a legitimate debate. The debates that I've been in, the candidates have 1 or 2 minutes to say something, and it haven't been very fruitful. So I do think unless God intervenes, unless somebody win in the primary, I think you have an ample opportunity to have a good, solid debate. We want to do like we did with Boomtown. We brought Boomtown to Jefferson Parish. We created a game and economic development district, and Boomtown was a $100 million investment that created jobs and opportunities for people. We want to see District 3 have the economic development like we did on Manhattan Boulevard. We want to see Jefferson Highway, Wagaman to Avondale, Ames Boulevard, all those corridors develop economically, whereby our community have access to the same quality of life that everybody else has, from Wagaman to Harvey, from Bunch Village to Kenner. That's going to take planning. That's going to take commitment. That's going to take discipline. That's going to take surrounding yourself with people who are innovative, people who are creative, people who are willing to test you, to tell you this may not be a good idea, and we have a better way of doing it. So we want to bring a diverse group of people together to make District 3 reflective of the rest of the parish, economically, socially, and politically. That's critical. That's key. We encourage you to vote Donald R. Jones, number 161. If you want to know something about me, go to votedonaldrjones.com. Lays out almost everything that we were able to get accomplished. You can see it. You can participate. You can go and donate. You can volunteer. Your vote will make the difference. Your vote will determine who represents you the next 4 years. Your vote is key. And I want to share this with you before I leave, Charles. When that plane went down in New York, when Mr. Scully was able to land that plane in the river and save those lives.
Right.
Just imagine if you would have had an inexperienced pilot flying that plane. And that's why experience matters. Records matter. Capacity to get things done matter. If you want someone who has the experience to bring this district to a whole nother level, if you want someone who's going to set a paradigm that improves your quality of life, then I am your person. Donald R. Jones, number 61 on the ballot. I want to thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to be on the air today. It's been fruitful. It's been both educational for me and hopefully been educational for the public. May the peace of God be with you.
And you can see on the screen, for those who watching, for those not watching, you can visit DonnaJones.com.
DonnaRJones.com.
DonnaRJones.com for contribution or donation. And volunteer. So any other number that they can reach you to, have a telephone number?
504-340-5809.
Say it one more time.
504-340-5809.
Again, Dr. William, in the conclusion to the show.
As always, we always tell you, there's no such thing as being half dead.
If you dead, you dead. Don't forget to go vote. Begin this Saturday. We love you and see you next week.